This is probably the most broken build in Crab Champions. In a single bullet, you'll be doing well over 1 billion damage. The training skull maxes out at 1 billion damage, at least at the time of recording this, and I hit that by around Island 109, and then given the way that the game scales, and it just gets more exponential as you go on, my damage is probably in the 100 billions, potentially even trillions. And in fact, this build's damage is so high that you'll crash the game every single time you just try to rapid fire the gun. The grenades you'll be using also hit everything on the map and one-shot the majority of enemies, but it's not as high DPS as the guns. So, how did I get to this point? Being the absolute unit of a gamer that I am, I was able to do this on my very first try, without dying. Not even a single time. Anyways, all jokes aside, I just used the methods I outlined in my previous video. So I won't be going over the entire build and strategy, more so just how the run went, because I don't want to just re-upload the exact same thing. And I'm not gonna lie, the run started off poorly. I did have decent damage, but no real survivability or methods to easily gain loot. However, by Island 60, I was finally able to get regenerating armor and Tony's black card. After this, it was essentially just smooth sailing. Using homing shot, I was able to start just standing in one spot and holding down my mouse button and then clearing the entire island, or just survive an entire horde wave without even moving or even aiming. This would continue onwards, but by the time I began approaching Island 200, I started doing so much damage and gaining so much money that I broke the game. My damage would lag or crash the game if I shot the weapon for too long, and every enemy I killed would give me 1.073 billion crystals, and since the limit is 2.1 billion crystals, my crystals would constantly keep resetting, back to 0 and then back up to 2 billion. So there hit a point where I was effectively not able to gain crystals anymore. With the damage lagging the game, I decided to use grenades. Thankfully, this wouldn't lag the game, but it posed another problem. Because the explosion radius was so large, it would constantly knock enemies off to inaccessible parts of the map. My biggest enemy from Island 240 to 270 was actually myself, and finding a way to reduce my DPS enough in order to not crash the game and not glitch out the enemies. Yes, you heard that right. My biggest adversary was myself, and I had to reduce my DPS just to be able to finish my run. As an aside, this is how my shop looked by the end of it. So as you can see, it's pretty large. And then when I finally went to fight the final boss, again, I had to limit my DPS in order to not crash the game or glitch the boss. In the end, I was finally able to finish, and this is all the upgrades I was able to collect. Most of them are upgraded well beyond their maximum, well over their 100% or the amount of stacks and bonuses that they give, and I had so much spare crystals, so there wasn't really a reason not to upgrade them. The amount of bullets I had was more than the game could spawn. As you can see, as I'm shooting around here, they just kind of disappear and then start reappearing again. My grenades could hit the entire map and just send enemies into the sky. If I was able to rapid fire them, you could send them into the stratosphere. I was able to leap across half the map in a single jump. Probably best of all, I could crash the game at will. These were the stats I had by the end of it. The damage total is obviously bugged. The actual value would have been well over 1 trillion. Given that every single bullet I was shooting was probably doing over 10 billion damage, maybe even 100 billion damage. Apart from that, that's it. Hopefully this video was entertaining, or you at least got to enjoy to see how broken you can get in Crab Champions. I'd love to hear your most broken builds or cool stories if you have any cool stories of runs. Until next time, good luck on your runs and have fun.